Nick and Sharon get a clue. Recap. On today's The Young and the Restless recap, Detective Burrows fills Matt in on the misadventures of Nick and Sharon. Matt is wired for sound as he questions Detective Burrows about Nick and Sharon. He asks for details, and the good detective says the worried parents are beside themselves searching for Noah. Matt is positively giddy at the thought of Nick and Sharon in terror. Previous The Young and the Restless recap. Jack and Diane prepare to shut down Jabba. Nick and Sharon stumble upon a lead on The Young and the Restless. Nick and Sharon are still searching around the same dilapidated area. Neither have cell service and they're heading back to the hotel. Before they can leave, a man named Cy walks up saying he hopes they got answers about their son. Nick flashes a picture of Noah, but Cy wants a little money for his information. Nick flashes back to the fentanyl Matt gave him to use as a bargaining chip for information about Noah. In real time, Nick pulls out $100 but Cy wants $200. Nick obliges but pressures the man to give them good info. What did you think of today's episode? Sound off in the comments and watch the video clip below. Keep checking back for the latest The Young and the Restless recaps. This story was originally published by Daytime Confidential on December 3, 2025, where it first appeared in the Young and the Restless section. Add Daytime Confidential as a preferred source by clicking here. Nick and Sharon get a clue. Creative recap, almost equals 2,000 words. The storm had already started by the time Nick Abbott's phone buzzed for the fourth time. He ignored it again, kept both hands on the steering wheel, and squinted through the torrents hammering the windshield. It wasn't just a stormy night. No, this had the feel of a night that arrived with a warning label. A night when sensible people stayed home, locked their doors, and waited until the world calmed down. Nick, unfortunately, had never been known for sensible decisions. Turn left, the GPS chirped. He snorted. Thanks. I would if that wasn't a literal wall of water. Another buzz. This time he glanced. Come to the house. Urgent. Sharon. Urgent. That word had a way of jolting him upright. Sharon never used it lightly. When he finally pulled up to her driveway, he saw her pacing her porch like she was waiting for a jury verdict. Her hair, usually pulled together with effortless poise, was damp from the mist that had blown across the yard. The porch light flickered as if struggling to stay awake. Nick got out and immediately felt the storm slap him. You want to tell me why you lured me out in what feels like the biblical flood? Sharon's expression didn't change. She grabbed his wrist and pulled him inside. Someone broke into the house, she said. He froze. You called the police? Yes. And? They came. She swallowed hard. And they found something. Nick followed her into the living room. Everything looked normal until he noticed the coffee table. Specifically, the object placed dead center upon it. A single wooden puzzle box with an ornate brass latch. It was old. The kind of old that made you feel an entire century's worth of fingerprints lingering on its surface. Nick crouched down. Creepy. Where'd it come from? That's the problem. Sharon crossed her arms. It wasn't mine. I've never seen it before. Maybe the intruder dropped it? No. The police said there were no signs of forced entry. Nothing was taken. Nothing disturbed. Just this. Nick rose slowly. So whoever came in wanted you to find it. Exactly. A chill crawled under his skin. The house was warm, yet he felt the cold clearly. He stepped closer to the box. What's in it? I don't know. I haven't opened it. Sharon's voice wavered slightly. I thought we should look at it together. Right? Nick said. Because nothing screams, good decision, like opening a mysterious antique box left by a stranger in the middle of the night. She shot him a look. I'm kidding. Sort of. He lifted the box. It was heavier than it looked. The latch wasn't locked, just stiff. When he flicked it open, the lid eased up to reveal a single sheet of paper, handwritten in precise cursive. Find what you lost. The first clue is where everything began. Nick exhaled slowly. So this is what? A scavenger hunt? A threat? A really pretentious prank? Sharon shook her head. I don't recognize the handwriting. I don't know what it means. You lost anything recently? She gave him a tight glare. Besides my sense of security? He lifted his hands. Fair. She picked up the note and read it again. Her eyes softened, almost nostalgically. Where everything began. That could only mean one place. Nick didn't even need to ask. He could see it in her expression. The old dorm, he said quietly. Sharon nodded. Where we met. Nick sighed. Of course. The drive to Briarcrest University took nearly an hour thanks to the storm, and they spoke very little. Nick kept glancing sideways at Sharon, whose fingers were curled tight around the note. Something about this shook her deeper than she was admitting. When they finally arrived, the campus was drenched, silent, and glowing under floodlights. The old brick buildings stood like watchful giants. The dorm, Hollingsworth Hall, looked even more haunted than Nick remembered. So how exactly do we plan to get inside? He asked. Sharon reached into her coat pocket and pulled out a key. Nick's jaw dropped. You kept the key? It's a long story. And yes, it still works on the side door. Of course it did. Inside, the air smelled like old wood, memories, and dust. Their footsteps echoed as they walked down the long corridor. Do you remember which room was ours? Sharon asked. Room 213, he said immediately. I remember tripping on the stairwell the first week and swearing the place was cursed. That was because you tried carrying your entire bookshelf in one trip. He smirked. I was proving a point. You proved gravity works. They reached the door. Sharon paused, her breath catching slightly. Nick pushed it open. The room was unchanged, 2 old beds, 2 desks, the lopsided ceiling fan. But something new sat on the bed closest to the window, a photograph in a simple black frame. Sharon stepped forward, heart pounding. It was a picture of the two of them, younger and laughing, taken during freshman orientation. But something was off. The background had been scribbled out with dark ink. And across the bottom, written in messy block letters. Remember why you left. Nick's body stiffened. This is getting seriously messed up. Sharon stared at the photo with a tight jaw. Why would someone do this? You tell me. You got any old enemies from college? No one who hated me enough to break into my house and lead us here. Nick looked closer. You ever send this photo to anyone? Post it? Leave prints lying around? No. This was the copy I kept. The original. It shouldn't be here. He turned instinctively, scanning the shadows. Then whoever's doing this knows us. Personally. Sharon closed her eyes, steadying herself. What now? Nick flipped the frame over. There was another note taped to it. Not everything stays buried. Next, the place he never forgave you for. Sharon paled. Sharon, Nick said slowly, who's he?